Welcome back to That's So Vegas. I'm Christina Keller. Thank you for hanging around. I knew none of you would go away when we left it off with green jello and gloves and money. It's all green. My guests today are Maven, longtime PR Maven Jackie Brett, and the pundit, Norm Johnson.
What is pundit?
Somebody who's witty and, tongue-in-cheek, and you've been around long enough, you know the inside stories, you can do play on words and stuff.
God.
Boy, do ya.
Yeah.
Wish we had time for some of those.
He is the inside story.
But he's a number of other things,
Yes,
too.
a lot of things.
And in your past, I know that you were nominated for a Pulitzer Prize when you covered the Watts riots in L.A. But from what you say, the odd thing is you were a sports writer and yet you covered Watts. Tell us
real quick.
Okay.
I was covering the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium press room, and I had a buddy that was a lieutenant on the L.A. Police Department.
Cool.
Okay, so I had reserved parking and all that kind of stuff, and he was off duty in civvies, and we were at the ball game. Now, about 10 o'clock, I'm wrapping up my story, and I get a phone call from my city desk saying that the LA Police Department is trying to get ahead of Lieutenant, and I cannot for the life of me remember his name.
Sorry.
And I said, well, give him the phone number here. So they called. They said, is so-and-so there? And I said, yeah. Can we talk to him, please? And I said, sure. So he goes down, okay, hold on. I'll ask Norm. Can you drive me down to Watts? There's a little bit of a disturbance, and they need a senior officer. I said, sure. It will be down there. Okay, so he hangs up. I wrap my story. We get in my Thunderbird at that time, and we go down Harbor Freeway, and we get off at, I think it was 98th or 95th Street or something like that, and we make a left turn, go over to the main street down through Watts. Now we're driving down the side street, and everything's peaceful. It was during the summertime, and the population there was all out on their porch, and everything.
Loving the weather.
Yeah, and make a right turn, and all hell breaks out.
Wow.
I mean, this big black American comes running across the street with a 2x4 headed for my head.
Uh-oh.
A side door window. Jimmy, the cop, pulls out his revolver. At that time, they carried revolvers. They didn't have automatics, and he shoots up through the roof of my car.
Oh, nice. What a memento.
But the guy stopped.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, rocks and everything, glasses.
So you were filming, or not filming, but you were taking pictures and...
Mentally.
Yeah.
And rocks are breaking into the windshield. The glass side windows were busted
Must
out.
have been terrifying.
We're
really.
bleeding, both of us, from blood. The glass hitting our faces and everything. I get down to the end of the street to 100th, and I see a guy from UPI that I know, United Press International at that time. He was in a phone booth surrounded by about 200
rioting people.
And so Jim takes out his gun again and aims it at the building and shoots at the building so he wouldn't hit anybody. And the people look, and we start plowing through. My buddy jumps out of the phone booth, scared to death, onto the hood of my car. We go around the corner of the block and stop, and it's all peaceful and quiet.
It's like being in the eye of a tornado or a hurricane.
And I called in my story laying on a trauma bed at the 72nd Street Police Station.
Wow.
I drove through hell last night.
Wow.
That was my lead.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a frightful, but it makes you appreciate life after that, right?
Yeah.
So you went from that kind of
Lie.
to race car driving. Which
I started driving race cars when I was 14.
Oh, well,
With
then you were
Parnelli-
kind of used to adrenaline rushes. And
With Parnelli Jones and I started together at the old A.J. Agajanian dirt track in Gardena, California.
I've even heard the name Parnelli Jones. My
Yes.
brothers were into racing.
Yeah.
And so you were, how long did you do that? You still do
So
it?
I retired actually driving racing with Jackie. You raced with me.
I wish I
my
could have
navigator.
uploaded that picture of you and Jackie racing. That was back in the, what days? The circus when I was at circus?
No,
or
no, it was
80s?
later. It was
Later in the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, I was
late,
there in 81.
late 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was my navigator.
You did a lot of, yeah.
We had to borrow a racing uniform for her, so I went to two-time Indy winner Roger Ward and borrowed one of his for her. And
I had to tie it. An interesting thing about those race suits, too, being a female, the race suits where the zipper is no good for, doesn't help me. So for me, it was a jumpsuit.
I understand. So
Oh,
you
God.
two did a lot of, well, you helped him do a lot of promotional events and took advantage of the prestige
I
of
was
race
in.
car.
I was in. Pardon me.
Certainly.
I started PR
Yeah.
around 1959 in L.A. for Joe Louis, the former heavyweight
Yes,
champion of the world.
Absolutely. Salute
And
him.
for some reason, I met his wife, Marva Lewis, I believe. No,
Okay.
Martha Lewis. And I was there on a business to talk to her. She was an attorney in L.A. And in walks this giant of a man. Mm-hmm. But man, the minute I saw him, I knew who he was,
Wow.
naturally.
Like a
And he
king.
introduced himself very warmly to me and had a great handshake. And he had a little guy with him by the name of Sammy Schnitzer from the L.A. Times.
Ooh.
And they were just signing all the paperwork to form United World Enterprises, which was Joe Lewis's enterprise. We were going to be promoting fights in Los Angeles, and we did. We promoted Cassius Clay's first West Coast fight.
Wow.
He now Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
I still call him Cassius.
That's quite all right. You knew
We
him then.
promoted 3 of his fights on the West Coast.
Great. And that was your jumping springboard into
And
public
I had
relations?
Sammy Schnitzer teaching me how to do PR.
That's amazing. Both of you seem to have learned on your own from the ground up, which goes back to you can go to university all you want, maybe aside from mechanical engineering or something, but really your applied life. So then you came to Vegas
I
and
got
just
to
kind of
vi-
naturally.
Hank Greenspun hired me when I was nominated. See, I won UPI, AP, Copley, anything that I could win on the West Coast
Amazing.
for that story.
Congratulations.
And the year before, I did the same thing, but it was with the fight riot at the Olympic Auditorium in downtown L.A.
Okay.
But I didn't get nominated for a Pulitzer.
So
for
that really helped push forward your Vegas.
So Hank Greenspun, I knew I would come up here with Joe Louis frequently, and Hank would always, Norm, you got to come to work for me. Norm, you got to come to work for me. After the Watts riot, I had 3 little babies. I says, Hank, I'm available.
Because you were a daddy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Here you came to Vegas.
1965.
Amazing, and the city's so much better for the both of you. And so, boy, between all of that, it's amazing. I also know, and Jackie has mentioned, that you're a sculptor as well.
Oh,
You have this
I
whole
know.
artistic, soft,
I love
creative side.
I love sculpting, but right now the pieces are just not selling unless you're.
Right, you got to market it. I
Yeah.
know it takes a lot of time and effort.
And
You like horses in particular, right? But you had that
horses
beautiful
and dolphins.
dolphins. I love that dolphin sculpture with the woman. It's beautiful.
That's
It's
a
so-
mermaid.
well, mermaids are female, aren't they?
Well, some believe that.
Okay.
They are they're no sexual.
They're neutral.
Well, we'll talk about that on another time. I want to get back to who knew. I said I learn everything. I always learn something new on the show, which I like. Yeah. And you're still, what I love about you, Norm, I've been so blessed to know you for about, 4 years now?
Oh,
Longer
than that, I think.
But
yeah.
your attitude, your outlook is as fresh, I am sure, as it was low those 40-some years ago. So how do you keep your energy up and, how do you, your outlook?
I'll tell you, I got to let everybody out there really know this for real. The golden years are not golden.
They're tarnished a little bit.
Yes.
But
But they
Rusty.
are still fun if you
Yes.
make fun out of
Yeah.
it.
right,
That's the
you got to
thing.
get up and go.
If you sit at home and read the funny papers and work your crossword puzzles, okay, that's good. you know.
But it doesn't work for Norm Johnson.
He's still working. He's
I
still
know
doing
he does.
PR.
And I'll see you
Yeah.
guys tonight. We have a fun event tonight at the
Right.
Union. The Cintas are here finally. We're dying to see them.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but we got to run. Stay tuned for our next guest.